Hello friends, this is the fourth tutorial about data science. So in this tutorial we are going to cover the following topics. Here again we are still working with list comprehensions, random numbers, regular expressions, classes, enumeration, zip and unzip, and then we will talk about arguments in double star, keyword arguments. Now let's start with list comprehensions. As we saw in earlier tutorial, there we said list is a collection of values. They are the same as arrays but with more functionalities. So let's see some other functionalities related to list. For example, sometimes if you want to convert the elements of one list into another list, it is possible here. It may be based on condition, or maybe we are taking all the elements from one list and copying into another list. Or for example, if you want to convert a list into dictionary or set, they are all possible here, because we say list or dynamic arrays. We can do many other operations you saw in last tutorial, and these are also possible. For example, here see I have created a list, a range of values here from 1 to 9. So if I am taking this list, copying into another list, it is possible. But if I say no, I don't want all the elements, only the elements where x is greater than 5. There are 1 to 9 numbers, but I don't want all the numbers. I want only the values greater than 5. So see, within the list, it is a list, we can do some operations. So this is called list comprehensions. It is possible. Okay, the next thing what we are going to talk about is that is random numbers. So as we learn data science, we will frequently need to generate some numbers, random numbers, which can do with random module. It is possible here. We are using this random module. It is a package. We can import them, and within this package we have different functions, and we can call those functions and create our own choice random numbers. So the first function here is called random, and it doesn't have any argument, without argument. So this is also used for generating or creating random numbers, float random numbers. And that random number will be between 0 and 1. So this is the lower bound and that is the upper bound. Within this range we can create different random numbers, and that will be floating point random number. But if you want to create some integer random numbers, and we specify what is the lower bound and what is the upper bound, it is also possible here. So we will be using this function randint. So by randint we can generate integer random numbers between x and y. This is the lower bound and this is the upper bound, and we will be creating integer random numbers. But sometimes we will be using another function, rand range. We will be specifying again start, stop and the steps. So the default value for the start is 0 and the default value for the stop is for the step is 1. So again, if we specify the start and stop and the steps, so that will be like multiplied into the step. For example, the numbers we will be generating like to be multiplication or multiplied by 5, like 10, 15, 25, like that. If you are not mentioning this, so the default value is 1. If we define the steps, so that will be multiplied by that value. If we want to shuffle the list, the elements or the values of list, and reorder them, so we will be using this function. Next function is called the choice. It is also used to select a random value from the list. Sample, if you want to take a sample from a list. For example, if you have the list of numbers from 1 to 20 and I want to take a sample from that, the sample means maybe like we are taking 3 numbers from that. Randomly we are selecting 4 numbers or 3 numbers, so it is also possible. This is the list and this is the number of samples, how many samples we want to take from the list. It is also possible. The next topic is regular expressions. So these regular expressions are used to search a text. If we have a text and we want to do some searching there, it is possible here by using regular expressions, and it is possible if we import this module. So within this module we have some functions, predefined functions like search we have, match we have, split, and so many other functions are there. So if I'm calling this function search, so I will specify a substring and this is the text given. So it searches text contains a substring or not. Whether it is there or not, it will be showing us whether this substring matches the string there in this text or not. So again we will be using this. If you want to split or take some text from a substring from a text, it is also possible by using or calling this function. Now let's go to the classes. This is something related to object oriented. As we said earlier in features of Python, we said Python is an object oriented programming language. It means it is supporting the classes also, the features of object oriented. So what is class? Class is a blueprint, or we can call it as a collection of objects, or we can say it is collection of data and functions. So data and functions are called the members of a class. So by using the keyword class, we can create our class, and then we can give the name for our class. This is the keyword. Through this we can create the class. And then let's see enumeration. Enumerate method is used to add a counter to an iterable and returns it in a form of enumerate objects. If we have an iterable values, some values, list of values, and we want to add a counter to that, so it is also possible by using the enumerate function. For example, if I have a list of fruits like apple, mango, something like that, so we want to add an a counter to that, it is possible by using this function. So this is our iterable, and here we say okay, you started from 0 and the counter will be increasing by 1 by default. If you want to change it, it is also possible. So the next one is here zip and unzip. In Python we have these two functions also. So for example, if we want to combine 2 or more lists together, it is possible by using the keyword zip. So zip is used to transfer multiple lists into a single list of tuples and corresponding elements. So it is possible. For example, if I have list 1, list 2, list 3 like that, so by using this keyword zip, I can put here the number of lists, and that will be converted into a single list, a single tuple or list of tuples of corresponding elements. So if I want to unzip the values, so iterator I will put here, and this star is very much important here. This you have to put. If you are putting this, it means we are unzipping the values of the list. And then we have in Python, we are using arguments here in keyword arguments. Star is here, like this star arguments, and we have double star keyword arguments. So what is the difference between them? So what is this one first? First argument with star. If we don't know the number of arguments passing to a function, so we will be using star arg. For example, if I create a function, the function I have to mention how many arguments are required, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if I don't know how many arguments will be given to this function by the user, so instead of mentioning their x, y, z, it is better to put this args. So it means it can accept any number of arguments. But if I am using this keyword arguments, if we don't know again the number of keyword arguments passing to the functions, so we will be using this star double star keyword arguments. So the values passing to the function will be in the form of keys and values, and it will be accepted. Let's see here practically. So we defined, okay, we are converting a list into another list based on condition, or maybe we are creating, okay, a dictionary or a set from a list. It is also possible. Now see here, this is my list of values, the range from 1 to 9, and based on this condition I will create another new list. It is possible, see. So based on this condition the values are listed here, 6, 7, 8, 9. And again see here, I have another list. This list has positive integers and negative integers, but I want only the positive integers, not the negative integers, or maybe I want only the negative values, not the positive values. Here I have to put the conditions. So this is a list, a comprehensive list. Within this list, see, I have a for loop, I have if, I have list. So many things we have put together, and we are creating a new list. So positive values, only positive. So the negative values are neglected. So here if I want to create the square numbers, okay, from 0 it goes up to 9, and here I am converting all into squares. It is also possible, see, 0, 1, 4, 9, like that. The values are incremented, and we have taken the square of those values. If we want to convert like into a dictionary, here we say dictionary is, okay, collection of keys and values, and keys and values both are called the items. So here I say this may be the key, and then colon, and the addition of two values are called as a value. So the list is starting from 0 and goes up to 9. Here the two values, 0 plus 0 will be assigned to 0, then 1 plus 1 will be assigned to 1, 2 plus 2 will be assigned, like that. All the values are converted into dictionary, like this here. Also we can put multiple for loops within a list. This is my list, but within this list I have created how many for loops are there? Okay, one for loop, another for loop, and the third for loop. One thing you have to remember, there is no semicolon in between, there is no comma, everything. See here also we don't have commas, semicolons, something, and the first here also we don't have comma, you don't have to put comma, something like semicolon, like that. So here, okay, how many variables are there? 3 variables are there, and 3 for loops I have created. So these loops are running, and the values are assigned into these 3 variables. So see, 0, 0, 0. So it means for the first value of this loop, which is x is equal to 0, for the first value of this, which is y is equal to 0, z is also 0, so 0, 0, 0, 0. Then again z is increasing by 1, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, then again giving the turn to y, so the y is changed here to 1, and again z is running from 1 to 4, and after completing this all y and z, then it is again giving the turn to x, and the x is starting, it is 0, then it becomes 1, 2, 3, like that, it is going up to 4. So it is possible. Now let's go to the random numbers. As we said, random numbers are important, and sometimes we need to generate random numbers here in data science. So for that we have a module here. We are importing this module, import random, and within this random module we have different functions like random. The first function, random. This random function does not have any arguments, so it is used to generate numbers, random numbers between 0 and 1. So here I said import random, and through this random module I am calling this function, and let's see the value. So this is a value which falls in this range. Again, if I am running this, so it is creating another random number. Every time if you are running, it will generate another new random number. See? But if I don't want that range, means between 0 and 1, I specify my own range. It is also possible. So here I said, okay, the range is x and y, and within this range I want to create the random numbers. It is possible. Okay, what is the range? The range is between 1 and 10. It may be any number you can put. So now you can create some other values, not between 0 and 1, but between 1 and 10. If you are running it, another random number it is given different numbers it is given. So we can call another function here random range start, stop and step. Here, as I said before, this one is by default 0 and this one is by default 1. So here, okay, I mentioned 0, you go up to how much? 100, and the step is 5. So any random generated here will be of multiplied by like 5, see, 55 and like that numbers. Okay, shuffle function is used to reorder the elements of a given list. So this is the list. If I want to shuffle the list, it is also possible by calling the function and giving the list to the function. So the list is so the values are in this order. If I am running it again, see the values changes here every time it shuffles. If I am taking a random number, selecting a random number from a list, this is the list, I want to select a random number from it, it is also possible. First time it is 30, again I am running it, it is 60. If I run it again, it will give me another number, randomly it is selected. But if you want to take a sample from a list, means I want to like take 2 values randomly, 3 values, 4 values. So this is the list. So from this list I want to take a sample of 2 values randomly. Okay, 25 and 15. Second time it is 41 and 13. Third time if I am running it, it is giving me some other values. Okay, next one is regular expressions. As we said, regular expressions are used to search a text. So this we have to use import RE regular expressions. This is important. Then we are using the functions within this module. The first function is search. We have to give a substring, then the text. As an example here, see, okay, import RE, then I say RE search O. So O is here, it will search the first O. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it is showing me the value is in this position, 4th position. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the 4th position and 5th element. It is there, it is matching, it is there. And again here, if I want to, okay, call another function which is called match, here it is searching that whether the text is starting with that substring or not. This is the text. I want to see whether it is starting with this H or not. Maybe with a word or maybe a letter you can specify here. So see, it is says yes, it is matching, it is starting with H. If it is not, something else is here. So here it is showing us none. The next function is split. It splits a text by a substring. So I want to split this WOR from this okay, string. Yeah, if I take WOR from the string, so the remaining string will be like this. I hope you understand. Now let's see what is a class. Class we define, it is a blueprint, it is collection of objects, or we can say it is collection of data and functions like that. We can use the keyword class here for creating the class elements, the class body. Okay, here I said okay, class, and I give a name for my class that is called test, and within this class I created a function, and for function we said we are using the keyword diff, and this is the name of my function, display. And each and every function has a default argument, and that is called okay, self. The self keyword is used to represent the instances of the class. So okay, I created a class. Within this class I have a function. So if I want to call this function to display this message, so I have to create the object of that class. So the object of the class I've created here, and through the object I'm calling the function, and let's see what is the result. Yeah, it is displaying welcome to classes. Okay, the next function here, class I created is rectangle. So this rectangle class has how many functions? Okay, 3 functions over there. The first function here, def, is used. Okay, double underscore init double underscore. So this one is called the constructor. In Python, this function is called the constructor, and the constructor is a special type function which will be initialized whenever we are creating the object of that class. Automatically it is initializing everything. So it is a constructor. In Java and C++, if you remember, there we were creating the constructor, the name we were giving the same as the name of the class, but here it is different. Just by double underscore we are creating init, and again double underscore. So these are the instance variables I am initializing here, and this is not constructor, it is a normal function. It is just used to return, okay, the multiplication of these 2 values, self dot weight into, I am multiplying it into height. And again I am creating another function here, it is called show, and through show I am going to display all these things. And now here I am creating the object, and through the object here, just while I am creating the object, automatically I am sending the values also here to these 2. So 4 and 5, 4 comes to weight, and height takes the value 5. So then I am calling the area function and then the show function. So the result is displayed here 4, 5, and the result is 20. Rectangle area is 20. Now see here, enumerate, we said if we want to, okay, if we have an iterable values and we want to assign them some values, or we create a counter for them, so we are using enumeration. Here is the syntax: enumerate, iterable, and then starting value, from which value you want to start. So this is, okay, I created a list of fruits, these are the values, and I want to, okay, create a counter for them. So I say for if and enumerate fruit. So what I am printing this counter for this. Let's see. Okay, these are the values, and here is our counter 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is not like by default it is starting from 0, as I said here, it is by default 0, but we can change it. For example, here in this example I say no, you don't start from 0 but start it from 10. Okay, this time it is starting from 10, 11, 12, like that. So this is the counter for our iterable. Or we can like assign the values, we can take both iterable and the counter. So I am taking the counter in this variable, and I am taking the iterable in this variable, and I am going to display them here. Yeah, in this form. Zip, here we have zip, we said it is used to, okay, to put 1, 2 or more lists together and create a new list, or tuples of corresponding elements. So for that we are using the keyword zip. This is the syntax, and if you are unzipping is, this is the syntax for that. So here we have register numbers, then we have the names, and then we have the marks. 3 lists are there. But what I am doing here, I am zipping all the 3 lists together, and I say student is equal to, okay, zip register number, name, and marks. So now it is zipped. Again I am going to convert it into a set here. I am mapping it into a set and then printing the values. So see, the first item in dictionary here is register number, name, and marks. Second item, register number, name, and marks, and so on. And again, if I want to unzip that, So the values are stored here in this mapped variable. So I say okay, the star keyword is used here or symbol is used, then our zipped variable. And since it has how many lists are there, 3 lists are there, so I say okay, the first list you store in this one, the second list you store in this one, and the third you store in this one. Okay, they are stored. And now if I see the first list, which is register number, I say okay, register number, see all the register numbers are printed. If I say okay, the names, so it is printing the names. If I say the marks I want, so these are the marks, again they are unzipped. Now let's see the last topic. Okay, star arguments, and we have double star keyword arguments. As we said, star arguments, if we don't know the number of arguments passing to a function, so we are using this one. Example, it is given here. I am creating a function called add. I want to add the numbers. So instead of arguments here, I don't say x, y, z, because I don't know how many variables will be or how many values will be passed to this function by the user. So I put here star arguments. And the function is called here total. For the first time, see, I am passing 2 values. It is accepting the 2 values, no problem, and it is returning the sum of those 2 values. And second time, to the same function, I am passing 3 values, and third time for the same function, I am passing 4 values, but still it is working and it doesn't give any error. So first time it is 5, 9, and third time it is giving me this one, because we don't know the number of arguments. Otherwise, if I say okay, x comma y, this function requires only 2 values. If you send 3 values, it is giving you errors. If you send only 1 value, again it is giving you errors. But if you don't know the number of arguments, it is better to put like this arguments, so it will be working like that. And the last one here, see, this time I am sending the values in this form. We have key and then we have the value. So if the values are in this keyword form, so double star keyword, this one is used, and I am separating them here. This is my key and this is my value. So this is my key and this is my value. Again, this is key and this is value. If I pass the values and print them, so this will be the result, apple, and this is the key, this is the value. Again, here this is the key and this is the value. I hope you understood this much, and we covered all the topics here according to this list what we arrange here. I hope you understood.